I've been recommending to everyone here in Singapore the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro. Just telling them that it's the most reliable, you get the best battery life, better camera system, and that it's a really good phone and you can't really go wrong. And then the Pixel 7 Pro came out, and I realized I was very wrong. You see, things have changed. For the past decade, there hasn't been much of a change in phone tech, apart from us waiting for better batteries or even better screens with under-display cameras. There hasn't been much of a revolutionary phone per se. But every once in a blue moon, you get something that changes the industry. Something like the iPhone or the Samsung S8 with its incredible bezels or curved screen. This time, it's the Pixel 7 Pro. Feel like a phone. It's livelier. It's like Google has just said, here's an unpaid intern. He's gonna help you remove some of your burden and you don't have to pay him. I bought the Pixel 7 Pro thinking that it's gonna be just like its ancestors. Really nice to use, but then you come across some major problems like storage and battery life and just the phone heating up, or feature updates that completely kill the OS. It's livelier, it's helping you take care of things that you never knew actually affected you. Well, that's what it felt like the past week that I used my own Pixel 7 Pro. I bought this with my own money, okay? So no way sponsored, no way is this biased. Yes, it still has its cons. Face unlock is absolutely useless in the dark, especially for dark skin. I had to rescan my face twice before it even recognized me in the dark. Fingerprint unlock is not as fast as other phones out there. It does feel nice, but it's still slow. It still makes you wait to get to the experience. And of course, there's still that annoying fact that there is no clear all button in the app tray. And if you have just tons of apps, which the phone can handle now, you can't close it immediately. You have to swipe one by one and spend some time closing the apps. But these issues don't stop me from continuously picking up this phone and using it. Why? Let's start with the cameras. Amazing cameras. The ability to represent my skin tone is insane. I don't look purple or black or blue or anymore in any of the portrait photos, and I look like me, that's all. The zooms are also insane. Like knowing that they've used algorithms that I learned in university during my computer vision module, they've done it really well. And to know that all these complex algorithms run locally on the phone to handle those imaging issues, that's insane. Night shots are also faster now with a timer that shows you the timing that's required to hold the picture steady according to how dark the environment is. And you also get this small ring with a dot inside that's like a mini game that you have to ensure is within the circle so that you don't get an unblurry photo, or you don't get a blurry photo. But you don't really have to worry about that because of the unblur function, but I'll talk about that later. Amazing daylight, HDR photos, everything just looks so good in it. I'm still not a fan of the portrait and the blurring with all of its like portrait mode and the cinematic blur and all that. It feels unnatural, and I think I've been spoiled with the camera system that I have because I get a much more natural blur and something that looks nicer in terms of the bokeh effect, or a bokeh, I don't know how you'll pronounce it. But it just looks unnatural when it's trying to figure out the ears and your hair and fur and all that. So I just kind of avoid that feature most of the time. But of course, for those who don't have any other alternatives, it still is really good. They've also come out with two new modes, one action pan mode and the other one long exposure mode. So long exposure is probably gonna get you a really nice pic when you're on top of a bridge, looking down at cars passing by with lights. So you get that streaky effect, and action pan as well if you want to capture something that's moving. I mean, I would love to say that the Pixel cameras are the best in the market, but there's always this pinprick of an issue with the cameras that you just can't get rid of. And that's video. It's there, it works, it's decent, but it's not good enough. It's not something I would replace a GoPro for. It's not something I would use to make cinematic movies or shots. It's still a bit jittery in terms of the stabilization, and it's still got that unnatural blur that I hate. It stabilizes a lot better than the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 6 and all that, but it just makes you look at the iPhone and think, I want that. I wish I had that. The camera ends up feeling like a tea shop kaya toast in the middle of a Michelin star bakery. You still know that there's something better out there. But having said that, like the kaya toast, you're gonna wanna come back to it again and again. And you're gonna pick it up and savor it again. If you feel like this video is also like kaya toast, make sure to leave a like and smash that subscribe button. That would be sweet. Okay, next is the AI. As I said, it's your very own unpaid intern. It's got some flaws, but it helps remove some of the burden from your daily life. The unblur feature and the magic eraser are some of the smartest features I've seen on a smartphone in the last 5 years. I would say, yeah. You no longer have to worry about a shaky photo or your hand shaking or your fingers trembling or the moving object not taking a look at you or, you know, those kind of things. Because you have the unblur feature on your phone, just a tap away, and any photo, even old photos, photos from other phones that you've taken or camera photos as well that are blurry, it will unblur it, and it works really, really well with a unidirectional blur. Magic Eraser, on the other hand, just completely removes people from the scene. As you can see from this demo video, I did remove my girlfriend from the photo, which she wasn't too happy about, but I think it really represents what you can do with this particular feature. I mean, imagine the possibilities. Let's say if you have a photo at East Coast Park and your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend is in the background. Don't delete the photo, just delete the person. Yeah. Also, if you want to forge or duplicate your MC or, you know, certain documents, you can just use the magic eraser to rub off certain details and then kind of write your own with the text tool. Not that you should do it, just saying it's a possibility. Like I said, it's got its flaws. Well, for one, editing your documents is probably going to be illegal, so don't do it. And your friend or your ex-girlfriend might be a bit too big for the phone to handle in terms of erasing. In terms of the one that I did in my demo, I could easily remove my girlfriend from the picture because the background was one contrasty and also uniform, like it's the same background. So the computer didn't have to do much to replicate that background. Although it did try to rebuild 4 people in the background, and I think it did somewhat of a decent job, but if you have much more complicated backgrounds than that, then yeah, it's going to be issues. If you use it on small objects, no problem. Also, unblur still has an issue with unblurring multi-directional blurs, and as you can see from some of these photos, it just doesn't comprehend fur. The noise suppression handled by the AI is also really, really good. You don't have to worry about walking to a secluded area or walking to a cafe to start your call. The phone learns your voice and knocks out all the other noises that are around it, and the other person on the line will only be hearing your voice, which is really, really helpful. Let's come to the actual Google Assistant. Well, it's the best. Like, there's no 2 cents about it. It's the best because it's used for so many things and it's integrated to so many applications that at some point you are definitely just going to use the assistant to knock out some of the tasks that you need to do or just make your day better. These are some of the scenarios that I have been through. When you're taking a bath and you want to listen to that podcast that you were listening to earlier, you can just use voice because you don't want to get the phone soapy or wet. Or when you're washing the dishes, you can play that song that you want to listen to. Or when you're chopping onions for some reason and you want to know what recipe you can use those onions for. And of course, the best feature that I love is stopping the alarm without touching the phone or getting out of bed. I mean, I'm almost always late now, but I am less sleep deprived, and that is important. Well, unfortunately, in Singapore, there are some features that the assistant can do but isn't in Singapore. Like hold my call, which is basically whenever someone puts you on hold, if you're calling StarHub to cancel your cable TV and they put you on hold, the assistant can take over and tell you when that person is back or what that person is saying. And there's also the direct my call feature, which we don't have, which is basically when there's a robot telling you all the buttons that you need to press to get to a certain point in the conversation, it will just print out or show you all those options on your phone, and you can just tap instead of listening to that robot speak it and then get distracted and then realize, oh, I didn't hear those options again, and then play that entire recording. It's a whole hassle, which the phone can take care for you. But we don't have it in Singapore, which is so annoying, and I wish we had those features, but we don't. But I can't even start to imagine how important this phone can be for people with disabilities. If they want to make a text, they just have to tell the assistant. If they want to make a tweet, they just have to tell the assistant. If they want to call someone, the assistant is there for them. They can tweet anytime they want, watch any video with live captions, translate any non-English video into English, use the recorder to hear what someone else is saying and then read it. This is all packaged into that unmistakably Google experience that's smart and thoughtful. Their most recent effort was the guided selfies for blind people. Between you and me, I didn't even know that blind people took selfies. But they do, and that was an issue that Google took care of. It makes them feel included, and it just removes that burden from their lives as well. I would say Google is currently leading in terms of accessibility, and they just have a much more user-friendly experience. I mean, yes, Android is a bit more complicated than iOS and that whole debate, but they have tutorials and demos for every feature that they give you, and it's hidden away unobtrusively, and you can even test the car crash detection without a car. Luckily, it would be pretty tragic if there was a car. All this, of course, is in that package, like I said, of Android 13. You don't have to fumble around with your phone anymore and then come to realize that you've been using your phone wrongly for the last 2 years. Everything is there. There's tutorials, there's demo videos, or even demos that you can try out. Especially in the safety app, you can try out the safety alerts and the emergency sharing and the car crash detection without actually triggering emergency services and contacting your emergency contacts. If you are someone who travels a lot at night or travels alone through eerie streets and you just feel unsafe when you're trying to get back home, you can use the safety alert feature where if something happens, hopefully it doesn't, your phone will actually alert your emergency contacts, alert emergency services, and it will turn on its cameras to show what is going on around you. It's features like this that go the extra mile to keep you safe, not just as a phone to call someone when you feel unsafe, but also to take care of you when you don't feel like you need to call someone or something happens unknowingly. Android 13 has been an absolute joy with all those customizations and features, and they've just made it so much easier to change everything that you want the way you want it. Normally in the old Android and other phones, you have to go into settings one by one, change the icons, change the shape, change the colors, change the wallpaper, then you change the lock screen paper. You don't have to do that here. It's just one press and hold, and then you change the wallpaper and all the icons and the color schemes change accordingly. And if you want to change it one by one, you can. It's an option. Also, the notifications sound like you're in a Mario game. You know that point when you jump and hit a question mark block and you get a coin? It's exactly like that. And in the library, if you don't want to be shh by the librarian, you can literally flip to shh. It's tacky, but it makes sense. Also, all those annoying spam calls, oh my god. Samsung S8, other phones that I've been reviewing, even my parents' phones, which are Samsungs, some of my friends' iPhones, the spam call does not get filtered the way that the Pixel 7 Pro filters those calls. I have not had a single spam call on my phone for the past 1 week, and usually I would get 5 or 6 within a week, just randomly getting calls from automated robots from China. I don't know why, it's always from there. Also, I don't have to wear a watch to know about my sleep. It listens to my coughing and my snoring. It tells me how good my sleep is and how my sleep schedule is, which is really, really good. I hate wearing watches and hate wearing things when I'm sleeping, so this really helps. Also, for those husbands in denial that you don't snore, you probably shouldn't get this phone because it's gonna tell you that you do. Your wives know it, and now the Pixel will. So you may ask, Mr. Thiru, they are collecting so much information about me, I don't feel like I'm safe or I don't feel like my life is private. Here's the thing, I would say the Pixel 7 Pro or Pixel 7 series is basically the most secure phone out there right now. Why? They have the Google Tensor G2, of course, which is the main processor, and the co-processor Titan M2 chip, which is a security chip dedicated for privacy and security. Every single data about you, your unblurred data, your magic eraser data, your voice data, your face data, your fingerprint data, everything does not go to Google. It stays locally, it is processed locally, all your images are processed locally and is shown to you locally. Your phone will know about you just as much as you do, but Google won't. Also, hopefully we get the new inbuilt VPN from Google. We don't have it yet in Singapore, but I've been wanting to watch another country's Netflix on my phone. Thanks, Google. Now, speaking of things Google didn't give us, they used to not give us good specifications or specs on the phone. We used to not get good hardware. Now, this section is about tech specs, so if you're bored or if you don't want to listen to tech specs, because it's everywhere, it's literally on the website itself, you can carry on. But this is a tech review video, so I just gotta drop some specs. So the Pixel 7 Pro comes with a 6.7-inch Quad HD display with a 50 megapixel camera, 48 megapixel and a 12 megapixel camera on the back, a 10.8 megapixel camera on the front. It's got face unlock, fingerprint unlock, 5000 milliamp hour battery with 12 gigs of RAM. It's got 4K video at 60 FPS, Wi-Fi 6, 5G reception, and comes in obsidian, snow and hazel colors, which, I mean, if you are thinking of buying the hazel color for the gold, it's actually not gold at all. Most of the time it just looks silver, and under certain lights it looks like a tinted rose gold. The Pixel 7 is about the same, but with a 6.3-inch FHD Plus screen, one less camera, which is the 48 megapixel camera, is not there, 8 gigs of RAM, 4300 milliamp hour battery, and comes in obsidian, snow and lemongrass colors, which lemongrass color is the nicer looking one. Both phones have 5 years of security updates and feature drops, and come with either 128 gigs of storage or 256 gigs of storage. Now, the price. The price is where it really gets interesting. Let's turn on that Asian mindset, alright? In the US or the UK, the iPhones are about the same price as the Pixel 7 series. In fact, in the UK, if you buy a Pixel 7 Pro, you get a Pixel Watch and a Pixel Buds Pro as well. But you don't get that in Singapore. In fact, in Singapore, with every phone purchase either from Amazon or the Google Store or Lazada or Shopee, you get a $250 Google voucher standard. So that's kind of like minusing off the amount from your phone. And if you buy it from Amazon with a Citibank card, you get another $100 Amazon voucher. Now, the price for this phone, of course, is 1.3K SGD. Okay, so if you minus 250 or if you minus 350 if you buy it on Amazon with the Citibank card, which I did, the phone is about $950 for a Pixel 7 Pro. And the Pixel 7 is 1K or 999 basically. And then if you minus off the amount, $350, you're getting the phone at about $650. So that is insanely competitive. Like, those price ranges are for budget phones, but you're getting full-blown, well-spec'd phones with insane AI and software and insane cameras as well. I mean, you can argue that the iPhones do have better reliability, lesser bugs, which is proving wrong in the iPhone 14. As we all see, there are a lot of bugs, and better camera system in terms of the video and better battery life. And if you play games on it, it's not gonna throttle like this phone will. But is that extra cost worth it? The iPhone 14 base model starts at 1.2K, and that's almost the same price as Pixel 7 Pro without any vouchers. And if you go up to the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max, you start going into the regions of 2K, and I think the most expensive one is 2.6K, which frankly speaking is just not worth it because there's this option. And also, if you're thinking of buying a Samsung, yes, great phones, great battery life, great cameras, but you're not gonna get this Android experience and all these features that Google has in Android 13. Gaming wise, This is like a fresh uni grad, great to do work, but not good at gaming. So if you ask me what I'm gonna recommend, I would say the Pixel 7 Pro is great, but the Pixel 7 is more than enough. I would say it's the best price point for what you get from a phone. The only reason I got a Pixel 7 Pro is because my hand itchy and I'm somewhat of a tech reviewer. You really have to give it to Google this year. They have done an amazing job, and I can probably join in with the other tech reviewers to happily say this is the smartest smartphone out there, and it is definitely worth the buy in Singapore. If you like this video and would like to watch more videos like this, or would like me to make more review videos like this, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below, and also a sub to the channel would be smart. I'm Thiru, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.